On today's episode of Back of the Bird, we were pleased to be joined by Trevor Baptiste of the San Diego Seals and the now New York Atlas. Great episode, great interview with Trev. We chatted about his time coming up in the game, picking up the sport, swimming through high school, his national championship at Denver, and then his adjustment to the pro level in the NLL and PLL. A lot of other great stuff as well, including a chat about the OLA Participation Policy. Let's get into it. This is episode 103 of Back of the Bird.
Take your first ride and run, baby, run. If you want a sign, this is it. You're mad, you're magic, you're as hot as a gun. You wanna play with fire, consider this. You'll chase the thrill if it's worth the hit, 'cause you never ever wanna work for it. Take your first ride and run, baby, run. You got a spine of steel and a roar of thunder. Yeah, you make me drown, yeah, you're pulling me under.
All right, we're back. Episode 103. We're back to the top, Pauly. Who's number 3?
Dave Lomas, number 3 for the Chiefs.
What the fuck? Guys, what the fuck?
Donny's number 3.
Are you shitting me?
Dave Lomas was the first, the original.
Dave wore 3 in hockey. He wasn't even a lacrosse. He was lacrosse 15.
Oh, true. I grew up playing hockey against him too. Suck it, Donny.
That is an all-time suck it, Donny moment that I adore. But we'll call it the Donny Dave episode. But again, we're brought to you by Cottage Springs. Get out there, give them a try. I got a little sneak peek of a new product coming out. Let me tell you, they're nice. It was a little tequila sunrise. I'm not sure I'm supposed to give out that much information, but that could be something that's hitting your shelves in the near future. But very appreciative of them. I'm sure people are diving into those over the holidays, yelling at their family, doing it all, going through the family drama, Christmas and New Year's here. It's been a couple weeks since we've chatted. So why don't we just kind of dive right into it? What's going on, Pauly?
Not much, man. Just in the swing of things. Yeah, good holidays. It's short though, right? You get bookended with 2 games, so yeah, short holidays was good, man. Like, without going into too much detail, Mac kind of gets what's going on. I mean, he doesn't really know who Santa is, but he likes to get the presents, right? So no, it's fun, man. As a father, you start becoming like funner and funner. So yeah, no, it was good, man. Good family time, and just that's about it, man.
You guys got up to the chalet there?
Yeah. So we did my family Christmas Eve because Dangerous took his family Retirement Street, and he took his family to Cayman Islands for like 10 days.
Whoa!
I guess there must be some kind of retirement bonus the league gives you or something. So I paid for the family trip to Cayman, and then then we headed up to the chalet. It was always like nice to be up there, but the weather was just garbage. Like I looked at pictures last year, there was like 4 feet of snow. It just rained every day. So it's kind of, you go up there hoping you're going to ski and get Mac on the hill. And it was just kind of like spent all day inside. But the kid got 1,000 toys, so he had no problem just keeping himself entertained. So yeah, it was still nice to be up there though.
Love it. That's awesome. Donny, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. A good suck at Donny to start here, and a well-deserved a well-deserved second one after I was talking about how I passed Pauly last week, but Pauly 250 games played, just a sicko accomplishment.
Wild.
Pretty sweet. Congrats on that. That's just crazy, but
so many games.
It's a lot of games.
That's so many games. He's multiplied my career total by 5, which is that's no crazy feat, I guess, if you really look at how many games I've played. But it's still 17 years.
Yep, year 17 this year. I didn't even know it was 250 till Brider came up to me in the morning shoot around like, hey, 250 tonight. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're playing a game 250 today. I'm like, yeah, man.
They're all blurred.
They all start blending in towards the end, man.
That's awesome.
But it was cool, man. It was cool that, classic cliche, but it was nice to get that dub on something like that. So that's all that really matters. But yeah, it's something you look back on, kind of cool. So yeah,
No
and
doubt.
these
No
are
doubt.
old as shit, which you guys all remind me of. Every congratulation was like, "Hey man, congrats, you old bag or old balls or old fuck or something." So
We gotta. It's everything's about balance. If we're gonna congratulate
yeah,
somebody,
you
there's
know,
got to be a little backhand to it.
you got to give this shit
Yeah,
sandwich, compliment, shit, compliment. Hey,
yeah, that's
love it.
Pauly's
it.
just grabbing his teammates in the locker room. It's like they come in to get like the celebratory like beers or whatever. Pauly's just fighting guys to show he's still young.
Yeah, yeah, but I guess on like yeah, Christmas note, same old here. It was good. We were bookended too with had a game in Roch. Kind of buzzed right back after that, and it was a nice little Christmas in the Lomas household. Let me tell you, it was. We've got the 8 month old and almost 6 year old in Miles and William. William with being 6 now, it's like I think Santa was a big part of his year. I think that was leveraged throughout the year. And but it was good. I ended up I threw on the old suit and gave him a Santa suit and gave him a gift. But so I was one of Santa's helpers the night before, which was fun. He spotted me immediately. And knew it was he started calling me Uncle Santa. So it was good though. It was again, it's Santa can't be everywhere at once, so he's got to send his helpers to put a suit on every now and then. So it was pretty cool, pretty special. I read him a book before he went to bed, and he just said, "I'm so excited to see Santa." And I was like, "Oh, this is all right. This is coming back." I pulled the Grinch. The heart grew a few sizes, but um, and then we quickly turned it around to fly to San Diego there. So it was no rest for the wicked, all in the midst of trying to get all of our work deals done by the end of the month. So it was a few tiring days, but now it's time to kind of just focus on lacrosse, which is a nice feeling because
Uh,
again, it was pretty draining there.
on that note, apologies to everyone for not getting an episode out. Before the new year, there, hectic time for everyone with work. Expecting the spring to be less hectic. So we should be on a good little roll here. Got some really exciting stuff coming down the pike. That's still in the lab, but yeah, hoping to be back on Friday mornings here for everybody, and reminder that we are on YouTube, Spotify, video. You can watch on Spotify, and as well as listening, wherever you listen to your episodes.
Yep, no doubt. We're gonna keep this thing consistent for you guys, and hopefully have some new and exciting stuff coming down the pipeline in terms of how you can access this thing. So we'll kind of jump into it. Obviously, we touched on Pauly's milestone, unreal. But I think there's been some other NLL news, but I think the other lacrosse related news is this whole OLA participation memorandum thing that came out with the new kind of additions to their policy. Donnie, I don't know if you can summarize it. I had a hard time following it based on them just like kind of to a certain degree throwing in legal jargon mixed with somebody who's like volunteering to write this stuff, and it was like kind of hard to follow what the hell they were talking about. But I don't know if you could maybe summarize kind of what the debate is for everybody.
So, really quickly, the OLA is the governing body for lacrosse in Ontario, so that mostly covers minor lacrosse, which is traditionally, most of the box infrastructure in Canada is through the provincial systems. There's also field lacrosse, and then the provincial teams, Team Ontario in this case, and then the Team Canada is kind of connected in kind of higher branch. But this all goes through, these are provincial organizations that kind of govern everything. And especially with the field game, a lot of field lacrosse gets played outside of that system through EDGE, other travel programs, instructional programs. And essentially this new participation policy, which has already been walked back a little bit and already been edited, which I always think is crazy when people put stuff out and then walk it back like immediately. but basically, it highly restricts the ability for players to play for travel programs and play in non-sanctioned events, um, and then also play Ontario box lacrosse and Team Ontario and field lacrosse. And when it first came out, there was significant penalties for anyone who played in a non-sanctioned event. I looked at the list of sanctioned events; it's pretty long. So, in my estimation, the main thing that we're cutting out here is travel programs, American recruiting events, and like third party skill instruction, which isn't really that common in Canada, anyways. Um, that's pretty much how I understand it. I don't know if you guys have anything to add, but it seems a little ridiculous. I think we all think that some kids maybe are playing a little bit too much lacrosse. Um, but one thing that I kind of wanted to say on this, because the PLL has kind of gone through it a little bit, and I got to be careful what I'm saying here, but you got to be careful when you assume that the incentives for people are all the same. The incentives for kids to play lacrosse are all different. Some kids just want an experience. Some kids want to get recruited. Some kids' parents are just looking to keep them out of trouble. It's all the same. And the same thing is true at the pro level. When the rule came in about PLL and summer lacrosse, I don't think anyone thought that guys would choose senior A, but the incentives for people, family, money, travel are all different. And I think what this assumes, this OLA policy, is that they have a very clear vision of an athlete that they're trying to direct. And I think you get really in trouble when you assume that the incentives for everyone are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we have here. I think they're making a mass decision, and you got to let families decide what's best for them. And also, you got to be careful that if you're going to make ultimatums with lacrosse, that your product is better. And I believe in the OLA product significantly. I was a product of it. We all were. But you got to be careful, man. Ultimatums are tough, really tough. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I think it's wild. Like I just don't think that lacrosse is in a position to be like, no, you have to focus on our league. Like it's not big enough. There's not enough of it year round. Like if somebody just wants to play year round and they want to go, start getting recruited earlier, get exposure to playing Americans or whatever, I don't think like it's going to sound bad, but like, who do we think we are trying to stop that? And I don't know. It just, to me, it's crazy. I think we saw a lot of backlash on it, and I think that's kind of why it's been walked back a bit. I think rightfully so in my mind, but again, it was just kind of like out of left field. It felt like. But Pauly, you got anything, or you good?
No, I mean both very well said. Again, I've been following it a little bit, but yeah, just again, I think we're in a space of growth of lacrosse, and I think sometimes again, the more lacrosse, the better. Like you say, kind of the more avenues there is for kids to be playing lacrosse, the better it is. Obviously, you could get into the pay and all that stuff. But again, I don't think we're big enough yet to start shrinking options for kids and for families and stuff like that, right? Um, I think you gotta let kids play wherever they want. And again, like some of this is people's livelihoods too, right? Like you're taking people's jobs essentially right from underneath them, which isn't fair as well. If people are making a living off lacrosse, having travel programs or companies and stuff like that, you just got to be careful. Like Donny said, I think Donny, how you worded it was very eloquently, man, and very well said. We'll see how it all kind of shakes down. Again, I don't know. I haven't talked to anyone from the LA, so I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. Right? You have to kind of, we'd have to be journalists, serious
That's not
journalists, and
that's not
actually,
us.
and actually
wait,
contact
wait,
someone.
wait. We'd have to know the facts to comment on a scenario. We'd have nothing to
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about.
No, for
I
sure.
put
But
the link
yeah,
in the. I put a link to the policy in the notes. That's research.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it
But
there.
yeah,
I didn't click on
Yeah.
it.
but yeah, exactly. You kind of, I would like to hear the reasoning why, right? Like, and I'm sure maybe it was a good reason or whatever, or maybe it was an idea from the right place executed wrong. Who knows, right? But again, I just think we're not big enough yet to start limiting options for kids and for families and stuff like that. Yeah, I think if anything, we almost need more options for kids to be playing. We need more programs and stuff for kids to be playing lacrosse so the sport keeps growing.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't want to talk out of kind of left field here, but it's like somebody from the OLA probably just saw like, oh, registrations were down a bunch. Like, I bet kids are tired or doing a bunch of other lacrosse in the summer, so they're not coming to play this. And it's like, here's a good way to make them, or whatever. I don't know, but I think the part that kind of sticks out to me that I saw people posting, especially with these like clubs, like a hardcore Evolve or Edge or whatever, like you're taking a kid who's 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, like they're playing on these teams, like those life lessons that you're learning, whether you know it or not, and the experience you're getting with like a diverse group of kids and like just different backgrounds and understanding teamwork and working to a common goal and traveling with your buddies and getting a gas station Slurpee or like, whatever it might be. Like those are fundamental, memories and fundamental ways of building a child. Like, and I don't know. I think just to restrict that feels wrong. And I don't know. I think it's obviously something they're going to have to revisit, which they already have started to, clearly.
We should probably restrict the gas station Slurpees. There's not really much nutritional value in those, so maybe that's what they were going
See,
after.
Paul,
No,
that's
what
when
it was.
Pauly deserves to be called old, when he's trying to talk the boys out of the Slurpees.
Yeah, you don't think I'm getting a fucking Slurpee after a big muddy field W?
Yeah, just because you played 250 fucking games, you think you can tell people
Never
what
had one Slurpee in my
This
life.
guy-
You make
this
fun
guy
of Jimmy John.
Slurpee.
You make fun of Jersey Mike's. You make fun. We don't all eat hummus and chicken over there, Paul.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna get one Slurpee. What are you doing?
Oh, buddy, let me tell you, I'm going. This is a little bit nutty.
You're going straight jungle juice a little bit from every single one, you sicko.
I'm gonna go full roulette wheel spin. We're going like down. I'm going down the line, betting money on every single one. But then my majority, I'm going Coca-Cola.
Ugh.
I like
cream soda and banana, half and half.
Oh,
I'm more on that train, Paul.
You just like cough medicine, then that's fucked.
Exactly, just so much sugar.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if you're stopping at a gas station and you could get only one item out of the gas station and you're on a long road trip, what are you picking up?
I mean, like now, like it's not like I'm getting like beef jerky or nuts. Like I'm old and boring now. I'm not getting.
Okay. What about Pauly the Kid?
Yeah, like I'm getting Slurpee and Twizzlers.
Yeah. Twizzlers.
Yeah, Twizzlers is my all-time go-to. Like Twizzlers or Nibs. I love licorice.
Donny?
Probably like chips for me. Pringles maybe. Then like Mike and Ike's, but I like all junk food. So
the list goes on.
Yeah, just Reese's. I like the what are the Reese's like M&M things? You know what I'm talking about? Like the Reese's Pieces. I think that's what they're called. Reese's Pieces.
Oh yeah, Reese's Pieces.
Yeah,
that's good. I did went the Poly route the other day actually and got one of those, like, I mean, not the exact same, but I got 2 of those like long beef sticks, like the ones that are like real OG gas station foot long. You're walking out of there, it's basically getting caught in the door behind you. It's so big, but those are my weakness when I'm stopping there, or like the sour watermelons.
Those are legit.
Yeah, they're not bad. But
I had this conversation. We actually talked about this on the podcast, so I'll abbreviate this. But my mom asked, like, do you guys have something? Well, I don't know why she asked, but she asked if we have candy before the games. And like our like snack table in Panther City, I think is awesome. Our equipment guy Nick Coyne does a great job with it. There's like a bevy of junk food, like candy, gum. We have beef jerky on it for I don't know what reason. And then like Tony Malcolm on our team is really into like health food, so he's always got like his salts and I can't remember. It was raisins or cranberries or something that he's always has his stuff, and then the rest of us are just like handfuls of Swedish fish, like the whole deal.
Oh, there's nothing like the gas station sushi in
Oh,
Raj,
dude.
eh?
So that just got brought up this weekend because we were talking about kind of the same thing, and then Hopi, because we had Jordan Searles, we just traded him, but so we're all traveling together, and Hopi's like, Pauly, you got to tell me about the sushi you guys would have pregame in Raj, and like, because Searles was trying to explain, I'm like, yeah, man, like, literally, it was picked up from a gas station and left out all day, and like, guys would eat it. It was the most disgusting thing in my life.
Just asking for salmonella pregame.
Everyone would be like, and everyone's like, oh, it's disgusting, but then by game time or after game, there's no sushi left. So
Somebody's doing it. The sushi bandit is getting to it.
yeah.
That's good, man. I guess we can. That's a good little segue, though, Pauly. I mean, we can walk through a few of these trades if you want, Donny.
Yep. Let me just pull it up here. So just catching up on some stuff that we've missed. Jordan Storos traded, like Pauly just alluded to, for a third-round pick in 2025, traded to Philly. I also saw Joey Capito was activated.
That's my Achilles brother. Let's go.
Yeah, so congrats. Paul, did he play yet? Or
Yeah, you played last game. Yep. Played last game. So I think 11. Danny, how long were you off for? Not that I'm
6.
comparing it. How much?
6.
6 months?
Yeah.
Joey was 11, I think, 9 or 11 months.
Yeah, because I think his is something was going on with his where like it was just
Yeah.
I think his calf actually retracted or something. So and mine,
Yeah,
mine
so again, just like a very long road. So again, he was back, so it's pretty exciting for him. Again, he's a guy who's played in Colorado his whole life, so he was. I've never seen. I guess he does it all the time, but he came flying out of the tunnel like he was like shot out of a cannon.
I love that.
Yeah.
Pauly, are you going out first in the? Do you go out first for the intros?
Third. Both goalies go, then I go.
Nice.
I'm
out first in Panther City. It's a little lonely. It's a little lonely.
Yeah, you get to dab everyone up though. You get it every single day.
If you want to feel better, I spent like 4 years in New York, and for 4 years they said defenseman Dan Lomas. So that's how you know you left your mark on a franchise. I don't even know what position you play.
I should probably take this out, but it is a league tradition to get at least something wrong in the intro.
Oh yeah, no, you can leave that in, and it is so bang on. Funny, this is, and I gotta ask. I actually should ask him about this, but I remember Buki. Whenever he would get announced, his hometown was Coquitlam, and somebody told me he like has changed. He's like taken that on as his hometown now, despite I think he's from Whitby. But anyway, on a related Achilles note, I saw that Max Pacioretty was back playing tonight after doing his for the second time. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But anyways, I'll send it back to you, Donny, for the rest of those. I think there's 2 more trades.
Yep. New York traded Kevin Orleman to Rochester for Stephen Keogh. Keogh played against Toronto, scored a pretty sick between the legs goal. And then Colorado traded Anthony Jochum and a 2025 third-round pick to Albany for Carson Moyer and a 2024 second. I believe Carson Moyer is a guy who's drafted but still in college. Pretty sure he plays at Utah. Very good player, though. Watched him play in Mimico. And Jochum somehow plays in the NLL and coaches college at St. Joe's, I believe, still. So, mad props to him. That's crazy. So I imagine it's a little easier to be closer to home. Closer to home and closer to his team. So, that's kind of the news around the league. Lots of I do think the NLL should clarify some of the different lists that we have for rosters because it is confusing, even for someone in the league. Going through the transactions, there's a lot of lists that guys can be on, but those are the big notes, and obviously congrats to Capito for coming back from that injury. So
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't. Do we want to like run through like the standings right now? No, fuck it, too early. So
No standings, no
there's
scores.
no standings, no scores. I that's fine by me. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's going on here in the next little while. But obviously, there's going to be a lot of games coming up. January's, dog days of the NHL, NBA, whatever it might be. So every week matters here. Obviously, football is going to start to kind of tune up too. But once February rolls around, nobody's got any excuse to not be watching the league. And just be sharing it with all their buddies and everything they can do, because it's every time I tell my buddies to watch and they watch, they have a blast doing it. So we definitely encourage you to do that. But anything else, boys, before we send it over to Trevor Baptiste here?
Nada.
No. All right. Well, as always, our interview is brought to you by Lucky Penny Media. At Lucky Penny Media, we are a full-service marketing company without hefty agency pricing. We understand your brand is everything to you, and when working together, it means everything to us. You're more than just a client, you're a partner and a teammate. Our philosophy is simple. You grow, I grow, we grow. So here he is, Trevor Baptiste. Beauty. All right, this Denville, New Jersey native is widely considered to be the best face-off athlete in the game today. He attended Denver University, where he's a four-time first-team All-American and helped the Pioneers win the national championship in 2015. In the field game, he's represented USA twice at the World Lacrosse Championships, winning in 2018 and 2023. In the PLL, he was named League MVP in 2022 and won Faceoff Athlete of the Year award 4 times. He also plays box for the San Diego Seals, the NLL, where he has won 75% of his draws this season. Welcome to Back of the Bird, Trevor Baptiste. What's going on, buddy?
Appreciate it, boys. Appreciate it. I'm excited to be on this podcast with you guys.
Did we get everything right there, Trev? Anything in the bio that we fucked up there?
To be honest, I blacked out.
So did I. It makes 2 of us, man.
Too long.
That's a lot of words.
That sounded great. It was a great intro. I appreciate it.
Love it. What's okay, we just hop right in with guys, give them a what's up, what's going on, and then kind of like go through a bunch of stuff. But we wanted to kind of like throw a little loop into this one. And
okay.
I think your position specifically has been in the news quite a bit in the lacrosse world with, obviously it's just kind of it feels like it's been consistently changing. I can't imagine what it's been like to be a guy that plays that position, but what are your thoughts on kind of, these proposed rule changes or all these different things kind of going on with the position now?
Yeah, no, it's I think you said it really great. I think that the face-off is always a position that's really it's always under high scrutiny, and it seems like it's always changing. My take on it, I think that before I even say it, I think it's really important that like I want everybody to know that I want the best for the game. Like whatever that is. Like obviously I take face-offs. There's a bias that comes with that, but I try to think about it unbiasedly. I think that from everything that I've heard, a lot of coaches, people around the game, especially the college game, a lot of it's around the officiating, and they find it hard. It's a hard event to officiate because everything's happening so fast, and sometimes guys get a little bit of a jump on the cadence, or sometimes guys get away with some things. Sometimes guys don't get away with some things. And I think that's the nature of the position. And I think they're trying to limit that. And, the thing that came up is taking away the clamp. My personal opinion is I don't think that'll make it easier to officiate. So I don't think that'll necessarily alleviate the problems. But I think that, I think it goes both ways. Like, I think the more you try to control it, it seems like the more problems you run into, So I think the face-off's in a really good position. I think guys I think the majority of guys don't go in trying to cheat. You know, I think sometimes things just kind of happen, and you got to call them as you see fit. You know, you got to call them as you see fit.
I agree, and I think it's funny because again, I couldn't agree with what you said more. Like you want the game to be in the best position possible, but in my opinion, it's like sometimes the devil you know is better than the one you don't. It's like you make a rule change just thinking it's going to be great, and then you uncover 17 other issues, and you're like, oh wait, we got to put in all these other new rules so they can't keep doing that. And it's I think a lot of the time too, I agree. Like officiating's tough in that position, but I feel like a lot of the time there's stud face-off guys, and then there's like a pretty good drop-off, and it's probably the masses of those coaches that don't have a stud that's like, let's change the rules. It's like, okay, man, let's just go to a puck drop if you guys are really getting this nuts with it. Like, it just seems a little bit ridiculous. But
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think it's so, and I don't want to speculate this on anybody, like I don't want to say like, oh, like this coach or that coach, but I think it's so easy for coaches to look at the game after and look at the stat sheet and be like, oh man, we got dominated in the face-off. Hey, if this was more 50-50, like maybe we would have won this game, or maybe we would have had a much better opportunity to win the game. And, I think that could be true. I think that there's a lot of things about the game that you can adjust to make that not as much of an outlier, like adding a shot clock. Like I think the shot clock was a big addition. When I played college, there wasn't a shot clock, and like if you win the faceoffs, like you could kind of sit on the ball a little bit. And there was times where we did really well in the faceoffs and we still lost the game. So, like at the end of the day, you don't get a point when you win the faceoff. You still got to put the ball in the net, and there's still a whole team stopping you from doing that, and there's a whole team trying to do that. So, and like I said, I think the shot clock really helps, and I think even if you went to a puck drop, it's still like there's still gonna be guys that are just better than other guys, like guys that are better ground balls, guys that are a little bit more athletic, guys that are just kind of have that, hand eye, stick eye down low. Like it's bound to happen. If it's a skill and an athletic event, it's going to be trained and guys are going to get good at it.
Yeah.
No doubt. What about just like kind of the emotional roller coaster for like guys like yourself of just like, oh, they're fucking with it again. Like, do you kind of follow the proposed changes really closely, or are you just kind of more of a mindset like, fuck it, like I'll find them in the spring, like call me in the spring when we're actually playing and we'll figure out what the rules are? Like, what's that kind of process like for you?
Yeah, I think when it comes to college, I think it's great for me to watch it, like kind of watch where guys want the game to go, what they're looking to change and things like that. I think like for example in for outdoor, like they made a big change with the 32-second shot clock, and I think it happened kind of soon, so like I felt like I didn't really have a lot of time to be like, oh, like what do I think about this? It's kind of like, okay, we're doing it, so I think that I think with anything, it's like a challenge. It's like an opportunity to like build a new skill, or just pinpoint another area of your game or your team's game that you can expound on or fix, or or manipulate or something like that. So like and like the Candace, like you guys did a great job with that. Like you guys did a great job like game planning that and being really creative with that, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, like it's definitely easier if it stays the same, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That is no one's ever said truer words, but we'll kind of, now that we've gotten the hard-hitting questions out of the way, we'll dive into it, man. How'd you pick up a stick? How'd you get into the game?
Yeah, I started playing lacrosse in like 6th grade, and I played football, and a lot of my friends that I played football with played lacrosse in the spring. I grew up in New Jersey, like you said, and it was pretty big out there, and I didn't really know what it was. I was just like, oh, my friends are playing. I should play. I started playing defense because I I could catch and throw in a lot of ways. I'm still working on that, but I think
Hey, aren't we all, man? Aren't we all?
So I think so I started playing defense, and I just had fun. Like, it was a really social thing for me, and I think with a lot of the other sports I was playing, I took them so seriously, and lacrosse was something that I was like, oh, I'm going out with my friends and playing. It's fun. There's so much creativity to the game that I think really makes it special, and I think that's what I really, fell in love with the game.
No doubt. I mean, and you hear from a lot of guys, like, it's like kind of that thing that guys play to keep themselves in shape for another sport, and then like you just fall in love with it, or you just notice yourself getting progressively better at it and be like, man, I got a future in this thing. Like, it kind of sneaks up on you in a way, right? Oh, Donny, you switched something up on me. Oh, we got Pauly from the top ropes.
Hey,
Hey, boys.
What's up, buddy? Oh, you're inside your
Sorry about
nostril
that.
there for a minute. It's good timing, buddy. We're just We worked through all the face-off stuff. You didn't have to be part of the rule changes stuff or anything like that. But now we're just diving into the background, so it's good timing. So this is we got some. We really dove into the details of who you are. Were you what? You're a 4-year letter winner in swimming.
yeah,
Dude, tell us about your skill in the pool, dude.
Yeah, so kind of a crazy story. When I was like really young, I almost drowned in the pool. Like, it was kind of like a recreational pool. I went in after snack time without my floaties, and it just did turn out to be a really bad situation.
Hey,
And
you didn't wait the half hour after eating, eh?
No.
Yeah, did not. That's still something I don't really do. But so that happened, and my mom was like, "Yo, like, you have to learn how to swim." I think, like, my parents did a really good job, like, with me growing up. Like, anything that was scary or something like that was something that I felt like conquered by. They'd be like, "All right, you got to go do it," So they're like, "You got to learn how to swim." So I started on this swim team where they taught you how to swim, but you could compete, because I really didn't want to do it, but they were like, "Oh, but you get to race, like, you get to compete." I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And it was at this lake, kind of close to my hometown, and I just kind of started doing it. I learned how to swim, and I loved racing. I started getting good. And then the club team would come to those meets, and they would kind of recruit kids to come to their club team. And they was like, "Hey, we'd love to have Trevor on the club team." And my sister did it too. So they kind of recruit us both. And then it became a lot more serious. And all of a sudden you're starting to do like the Junior Olympic stuff, the national stuff. And they're like, you got to start practicing. I was practicing like 8 times a week. I was practicing 2 days on Wednesday, after school every day. And it was all to get incrementally faster. And it sucked. I look back on it, like, it was terrible, but it taught me a lot about discipline, and the races were great. It's a really, really good, like, high, like when you get up for a race,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something I wish my parents did, was teach me how to swim a bit. We had to do that like challenge week at school, and we had the one day in the pool, and it was like, I'm glad I'm still here today, because treading water in the deep end and having to pass a cinder block over your head, I was like, this is going to be the end of me. But I mean, it kind of goes full circle though. You're training all that time to get incrementally faster. And now that's, that reaction time and kind of getting quicker is what you're paid to do. So it worked out in the long run.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, like, finding face-offs was great too, because it's also kind of like that head-to-head, type event, and I was like, oh, like, I'm used to doing this. Like, I should, they were like, hey, we need a guy to take a face-off. I was like, okay, yeah. Like, I feel like this is up my alley,
Yeah. That works,
Yeah.
man. So how did you, obviously working your way through high school, you're playing a ton. When did the recruiting conversations start to happen, and who was in the mix?
Yeah, it was different for me. I got recruited by a lot of D3 schools, and back then, um, the recruiting rules weren't the same. So guys were coming in like freshman year of high school, some eighth graders, sophomore years. Like by the time we were sophomores, a lot of the Division One, all the top Division Ones, but most of the Division One teams, they finished their class, and I was just really stepping into the game. Like I was really like, okay, like I like this. Like I think I can do this long term, or this is something I want to do in college at least. I was thinking, and so I got recruited by a lot of D3s. Stevens. I actually ended up committing to Franklin and Marshall. That was a school I was really excited to go to. I was so excited to play there, and then towards the end of my high school career, some D1s. I definitely got a lot better. And some D1s started reaching out, like High Point.
Don't
I
do
think,
that to me. Don't
yeah,
be telling me
yeah,
that was almost
yeah,
something that could happen.
yeah,
Damn it.
man.
That ain't
Yeah,
right.
Torby called me. He was like, yeah, man. We'd love to have you down, and Drexel, and then uh, I was just kind of like, I'm set. Like I'm set on Franklin and Marshall. Like I'm good. Uh, and then Denver called me like March of my senior year, and I was like, what? Like, you guys sure you got the right guy? And they're like, yeah, like we're looking for another faceoff guy. We need to add depth to the position. Like, we'd love for you to take a visit. I've never been in Colorado. I was like, Coach Tierney, like he's a legend. Like I gotta go for this. I gotta try to take this opportunity. And then it just kind of happened.
Do you know how many more shots I could have taken? From from way, no offense to any of our face-off guys that may be avid listeners, but Christ, that would have been all right.
Lomi, too many swimming pools at High Point. He was burnt out of swimming by then.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done.
He wouldn't have known which one to pick. He would have been buzzing around campus all day. But what was the like for you? I mean, obviously you said you'd never been to Colorado. What was the visit like out there?
It was good. It was, I think it was like such a legendary coaching staff, like with Coach Tierney and Coach Brown, and Trevor Tierney was a coach there at the time, and John Orson came in. Like we had, like the coaches were unbelievable, and the team culture is what really drew me in. Kind of like I said, like a lot of D1s, not a lot, but some were recruiting me in the end, and I just didn't really get a good vibe, and I think a lot of it was like I shouldn't say I didn't get a good vibe. I had a really good vibe about Franklin and Marshall, and that was like really what I was comparing it to, like
Yeah.
the guys on the team, like feeling just a part of the team, and I don't think it was necessarily fair because I don't think I gave a lot of the schools a fair shake at it as much as I did with Franklin and Marshall at Denver, but. I remember the thing where the moment I knew I was like, I got to do this was one, like it's Denver. And then two, it was, I went out that weekend and it was maybe like March or something like that. And they were playing Rutgers, which was like right in my backyard. So I was like, I flew all the way to Denver to watch Denver play Rutgers. And then, it started snowing. Like it was beautiful in the morning. It started snowing. I'm like, this place is crazy.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. Like I kind of like how it's kind of up and down, and there was a team meal, and I'm like I'm a little starstruck, like Wes and Jer and Zach Miller, Tyler Pace, like guys that I'm watching on TV at Final Four weekends, and I couldn't tell who was who. Like I couldn't tell like who were the guys, who weren't the guys. Like it was just 60 guys in the room and they were all part of the team. And I was like, okay, because I was like, this is what I want to be a part of, because I honestly didn't think I was gonna play, or like I didn't think, I was like, I'm here to add depth. Like I want to be a part of the team. I don't want to feel like if I'm not playing on Saturday, then I'm not a part of the team. And And it was so true at Denver.
That's a great point. I mean, and again, there's worse places to go. So I mean, and you're going on campus and like there's a hockey game going on. There's other like it's just not a bad place to be.
Yeah, no, yeah, we saw a hockey game. Just Colorado lifestyle was so different. Just very outdoorsy. People were like much more relaxed. I was like, what's good? Like everybody's walking slow and like doing all this stuff. Like I'm from New Jersey. People are like we gotta go, and I was like, I kind of like this. Is refreshing.
Yeah, there's just giant puffs of clouds buzzing around around campus. Like, okay, that's why they're walking slow.
There's definitely a few clouds puffing around. That was the year weed was legalized in Denver, 2014.
Oh yeah,
it was that year. Yeah, so people were taking advantage of it for sure. People were taking advantage of it.
Donnie, you want to maybe dive into that 2015 team a little bit?
Yeah, obviously, pretty stacked team. You guys would go on to win it. This is just kind of like an outside perspective, but a lot of the successful college teams you see are like super intense and like a lot of big personalities, big leaders. Like, just even like I don't know Wes that well, but he just seems like a more kind of easygoing guy, and that team seemed a little bit more easygoing maybe than some other college teams. What was that team kind of like from like a character attitude point of view? Obviously really good on the field, but what was kind of the vibe with that group?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I think I've learned to appreciate it more with age because I was a freshman, so I'm coming in and I'm like, okay, this is D1 lacrosse, like this is how it is. Like I wasn't really thinking about how it was everywhere else, but really the vibe, and I think Wes really embodies this, is it was a vibe of maturity. Like I felt like everyone was very, very mature to be a bunch of 18 to 21-year-olds. And what I mean by that is, it wasn't like, hey, like get in line. It was more like, if you don't like, you could have fun. Like you can do whatever, I should say whatever you want, but like, if it comes to the point that you're not performing, then we're going to step in and you're not going to like that, but if you can take care of your business and there's no reason for us to get, really high strung or like bring the pressure on unless it's shown that you need it, and that was really from the guys on the team and like Wes, the leadership group, like, that's like what I learned as a freshman. And I think like you look at the coaching staff, like Coach T is like, kind of known to be a little bit more, vocal, strict, so like we were getting all that from the top, but when it came to the players, it was like, yo, like, like we're here to have fun. Like we're going to get to know each other, have fun. Like there was no classism. Like I didn't feel like it was like rookies, like, you got a pledge or something like that. Like it was like, you got to pay your dues like here and there, but like if it comes time for practice on Friday morning or Saturday morning and maybe you had a couple drinks the night before, that's cool, but you got to show up, like if you're not showing up on Saturday, then you're going to hear about it, then we got to take those rights away.
I love that Birdie's got like, it's like the old time hockey. Like you can, sure, if you want to burn at both ends, sure, but you better be ready to go for us or you're losing that privilege.
Right.
I love that.
That's really how it went.
Another thing about that, this goes for your whole time in Denver, but was that the first time you'd kind of been around and played with Canadians, and do you ever think about like, obviously you went into box right away after school, like do you ever think about maybe the influence that playing with Canadians and being around like the box stuff right like in college maybe had on your pro career after that?
Oh, absolutely. Playing with Canadians and, Coach Brown being there was a huge influence on my game. And, I actually got a funny story. So I remember it was moving day, freshman year. And it kind of got my tail between my legs, like, first day of college, like freshman year, like I'm trying to, feel comfortable and everything. And that same year, Team Canada won the outdoor worlds that summer going in. And also, I'm pretty sure Six Nations won the Minto. And they played against the Adanac. So it was like Wes and Pace versus like Millsy, Bomber, and they were playing on Six Nations. So I was just talking to Coach Brown, like on Moving. He was like, yeah, like really big summer. And I was like, yeah, congratulations. Like winning gold is so great. He was like, yeah, like, thanks, and it was a big year for Bomber and like Six Nations winning the Minto. And I was like, oh, like I didn't know Bomber was on Team Canada. Like I didn't know he was on the team. Like I didn't know what the Minto Cup was. I didn't know. Yeah. I was like, he was like trying to say, he was like, no, the Minto. And I was like, the what? And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed, man. But now, playing box, it's like now I get it,
Yeah.
But yeah, like it opened my eyes to a completely different style of play, which I think is really great. Like I think in a lot of ways, it's really good for the game. It's really good for the game.
Yeah.
It's really good for the game.
Did you play with my buddy Bryce Parietti then?
Of course.
Oh man.
Do you guys call it Slice?
I don't even know. I think we call them paratitties, but dude, it's an all-time guy. So this Bryce went to High Point for his freshman year, but he's from Denver, so then like transferred back. And I think he's like good friends with Canizero too, right? But which we'll get to him, but because I think they like played high school together or something like that. But dude, all-time guy, like he's pure Denver, walking slow, like talking slow, such a goof, man. He's an all-timer though. He married a Canadian girl too.
He did. He did. We were on the wedding circuit a little bit this past fall. Like a bunch of Denver guys were getting married, and him and his wife are there. And I don't know if you ever noticed, whenever he scores a goal, like in a game or practice, especially, you ever notice he kind of does that little swag walk? Like,
dude, the swag walk is unbelievable. He would always do it. And especially if it was in like an inter squad scrimmage, he would swag walk right back to like the restraining line, like where the attacker lined up again. Oh man, all time. I love that you do that too. He's a character. I mean, talking about it, and this is one of the questions Donny had too, but talk maybe a little bit about how good Canizero was that year.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, I think like it was, like that was that. I'm so used to like pro now, like trades, like acquisitions. Like him coming to Denver was like it completely changed. It completely changed our offense. Like I think we're so predicated off ball movement, and we had guys that could really dodge, but having him at X just made guys just have to respect the dodge so much more, so it kind of opened up all that ball movement for us. And it was really special, him coming to the team and playing with his brother being a senior. And, there was a really cool bond there that kind of flew through the whole team.
Progressing a little bit, I know we spent a little bit of time on this 2015 team, but, one of the all-time, or, obviously a great team. For lacrosse nerds like us, the video of Perkovic scoring 5 goals in a row is God. Like in YouTube, kind of lore. I looked today; it has like 500,000 views. So you guys win that game in OT, but you're on the sideline or you're on the field watching him score 5 in a row in the fourth quarter. For people to know, Sergio Perkovic scored 5. It was 9-4. He scored 5 goals in a row by himself. What was that like, just watching that happen?
Freaking out. I was like, oh my god. Like the first one, it was like, all right, nice shot. We got a little lead. Like, all right, and then
we're still good.
Like, next possession, boom, And I was like, okay, let's get a poll on this guy. And then the third one, I was like, yo, this is about to be a mess. Oh man, that was crazy. Oh my gosh, and especially just at that point in the game, they just took all the momentum, man, and we were walking on eggshells for sure. It was pretty crazy that we were able to kind of pull it together at the end, but that effort, I respect it. I think it's a lot easier for me to say I respect it that we won the game. But that was it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It made for a really good game. It made for a really
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's almost, by the sounds of kind of the way you describe the team and the locker room and the function of all the boys, it's kind of poetic having Bergie end that game too, right? Like, what was that feeling like?
Oh, it was, I hate to say this, but looking back at it, it was like when he scored that goal, he threw his glove in the air. I was like, that was a semifinal. I was like, this is over. I was like, we won. We won nothing. It was like we were unstoppable, and it's not like it come from a thing of cockiness, it's just having your leader, come up big for the team after just having 5 goals scored on you when you felt like you had the game wrapped up and it's in overtime. It was almost like fate, we get ready for the national championship game and it's like we couldn't be more relaxed, we couldn't be more relaxed. It doesn't matter what's gonna happen. Some guy might score 5 goals in 2 minutes. We're still gonna win. We're still gonna win. Yeah,
we're gonna make sure to send this clip to Ocello after this.
Yeah,
Sell scored the last goal. Which
I'll send this clip to him too. You say
yeah. He scored the last goal, and he was facing off too. He was facing off. He was kind of spinning the face-offs.
How'd that go for him?
What were you saying? Ocello, it went pretty. It was solid. Ocello was tough, man. He was tough. I remember one play, the ball kind of rolled towards the end line and it off the face-off or towards the sideline off the face-off, and we're both running to go get it, and then he kind of shoves me, we're trying to box out. He kind of gives me a good shove, and I kind of shove him back, and then the ball, I remember this so vividly. The ball's sitting an inch off the line inbounds, and it's in between us, and he just turns to me like the Terminator, and he looks me right in the eye and just fuck, and just hammers me. Right, yeah. I think the ball just went out of bounds. I don't even know who got the ball.
How it ended, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I was
wild.
I remember it so well. And then the next face-off he came out, he was like, good hit. I was like,
What a sicko.
I said, I'm still grabbing my mouthpiece, man.
Yeah.
My mouthpiece.
Donnie, anything else you want to touch on Denver before we kind of move into the pro stuff?
No, that was it. I mean, honestly, by the way you describe it, it doesn't sound like there's that much to talk about from the Natty. It sounded like by Monday, the hay was in the barn. You guys just went out and did it. Obviously, maybe last question is the East Coast National Championship. Obviously, you're not making the drive home that night. What did you guys do that night when you won?
We flew back that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, okay. So didn't you land and Jer and John Grant Jr. had the biggest champagne bottle known to man ready to go?
Yeah, it was 5 feet. I think they had 3 5-foot champagne bottles, and we just went straight to Wes's house. We had to travel it. We traveled in suits and ties as a team, and we just dropped our bags off, and usually after a game, a big win, Coach T kind of gives a talk don't do anything stupid, be smart, and he was just take care of each other, and he just walked out.
He said let it rip.
Yeah, go ahead, boys.
Yeah.
Let it rip. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we might as well let's move into a little bit of NLL stuff. So, like, after you finished up playing at school, did you know you were going into lacrosse full time? Did you step into lacrosse full time, or did you have a job first?
I did have a job lined up, and like real estate finance. That's why I studied real estate at DU, and I think like this whole pro lacrosse thing's been it's been a little bit of a wave. Like I never even junior senior year of college, like I was never like, oh, I'm gonna play pro lacrosse and this is gonna be my occupation, or I'm gonna my whole job or occupation is gonna revolve around lacrosse. That was never like a goal nor something that I thought was possible. And it just kind of worked out that there's I think it's just there's a lot more investment going on in the game, and I just kind of lucked out. I kind of lucked out with it, and I was like, okay, like this can kind of work. So, and I remember I was talking to my parents about it, talking to a lot of people that like mentors, and I was like, should I be doing this? And they're like, some people were like, yeah, I think you should get a job, but the overarching majority is like, at this stage of your life, like you should do this. Like this is the time to do this. Like go for it. So it just kind of went. It just kind of went that way. And it's been a lot of figuring things out on the fly. Figuring out how to make it work. And I think I shouldn't say like I'm talking like I didn't have a lot of help as well. Like there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of other guys that were doing the same thing, that I could kind of, pick their brains and be like, okay, like, how do I do this? What should I do this? Getting into indoor, I think Coach Brown was like the biggest advocate for that for me. He was like, you got to play, like you got to do it. So it's been kind of figuring out, just kind of going with it. Yeah.
So, I mean, I got a question for you because I got this. I kind of got maybe the Coles notes of this story, and just like on topic of kind of working and stuff. Like, obviously, you're a Warrior New Balance athlete. I need to hear the story of how you ended up hanging out backstage with Jack Harlow.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not that crazy of a story. Like, I hit up New Balance and I was just like, hey, I'm a Jack Harlow fan. I'm going to the concert. I know he's a New Balance athlete. Like, is there any way, we could do a meet and greet? And they were like, like we're gonna break up the channels. Like, can't promise you anything. But like, like we'll send it up the channels. And I was like, okay. So I'm thinking like, this probably won't happen. I'm going to the concert anyway. I'm gonna enjoy it. And then like I get a text like kind of a quarter way through the concert. I was like, yeah, like Jack's manager is gonna meet you at the side door. Like just meet him there or meet her there, and then she'll bring you backstage and like you get to do like a meet and greet. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I'm thinking like, like it's just gonna be like, oh, like, I say, what's up, maybe take a picture, and, just kind of go my separate ways, and that did happen. And then it was funny. At first, he thought I worked for New Balance. So he was like, oh, like, like, and at that time, he was like about to renegotiate. So his contract was ending. So
Yeah.
I think maybe that is what got through the channels. They were like, yeah, like we should bring this guy back. Like he'll be good for your contract,
Yeah.
So like we're talking and then like at first he was like, wait, so you don't work for New Balance? I was like, no, like I'm an athlete, like I play lacrosse. And I don't know, like something that's always like a self-conscious thing for me is like telling people of that size and magnitude to be like, oh yeah, like I'm a pro athlete. I play pro lacrosse, like I expected him to be like, oh, like what's that? Or like, oh, I didn't even know there was a pro sport, just there's a lot of ignorance around it. And
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, that's so cool. And I was like, what? And to this day, like I was like, like I'll always respect Jack Harlow and like anything he does in life, because like just what that brought me was like, I was like, wow. Like he was like, that's so cool. Like you play a pro sport and you play lacrosse. Like that's awesome. Like he's like, they didn't really have it in Kentucky, but like I think that's so cool. He's like, yo, you want to come backstage and just kind of like vibe a little bit? I was like, hell yeah, you know, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah, are you kidding? Let me get my
I was
stuff.
like, oh yeah, you know.
What was that like when you were just hanging around with the boys back there?
It was cool. Like it was really low key. You know, like uh it was just really low key. Like I didn't and I'm sure it's different for everybody, you know, like I'm sure tons of artists do things differently. I don't know, but uh you know, everybody was just chilling. Like everybody was chilling. You
I
know?
think, and the way I heard that story is like Teeter told me that out of like pure frustration because like he's a huge Harlow guy and he's like, dude,
Yeah.
he got to do this, I didn't get to do this.
Yeah, no, I would have loved it. It would have been great if Jeff was there too. It was. I think a lot of times too, like, you know, sometimes like it doesn't hurt to ask. You know, like if it's coming from a good place, like I think if I didn't ask, then that would have never happened. Like I could have easily just went to the concert and been like, oh yeah, you know, wore my 550s, maybe a New Balance sweatshirt, like oh maybe like maybe it's these New Balance that like calls it out or something
Yeah.
like that, like you know, or something like that. But and you know, like I didn't think anything was gonna come of it, and it just ended up to be really cool. And honestly, if we did go backstage, hang out, or anything, just the fact that he said lacrosse was cool, I was like, this is a great experience. This is a great experience. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I sidetracked us a little bit, but when you jumped into the NLL, like what was that first training camp like for you?
Oh man, my head was spinning, bro. Spinning. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, and so it's in Philly, right? So we got, you know, Pauly and, you know, great coaching staff, Rubes and TK. And TK was explaining all the drills. So not only did I not understand it if it was in common English, but like TK, you know how TK talks, like when he's coaching, like
It's in Peterborough. It's in Peterborough.
Like
yeah.
even yeah, I'm like, I don't even know. I have no idea what this guy is saying. So and like he's right on the board, and it's like all like, you know, circles or lines here going this way, this way. I'm like, I'm just gonna hop in the back of the line. And for a lot of drills, like I would, you know, even just like the flow drills, like passing, like I would just like it just lock in on the guy in front of me and then just be like, okay, like you catch first and you pass here, and then you know, and it's still sometimes I was messing it up, you know, I was messing it up, like in the basic drills like that. But, you know, it was, but like, you know, when it came to the gameplay stuff, you know, it was even harder, even more of a challenge. And I think that I really lucked out being on Philly. Because we were an expansion team that year. So I think we had a lot of guys that were newer to the game, and they're really investing in teaching us at camp, like putting us in different things. I think that me being like them going with the strategy of like, hey, we're going to get a face-off guy so we get the ball more. Like, I think that opened up the door for me to learn, you know? And I think that it's tough for a lot of guys that want to come in and don't know anything about box, you know, like it's, you really need like somebody to walk you through the basic stuff. Like I remember Lordy said something like, oh yeah, we're just going to play like this, you know, just kind of like when we were in Pee Wee. And I was like, I don't like, what? Like, I don't know. You know?
I've never heard of
that.
that.
Explain that to me.
I never heard of the Minto, bro. Like,
Yeah, I didn't hear the Minto, you know. I had to learn about that.
Yeah, so if we were explaining this to a Pee Wee guy, could you walk me through that quickly?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I enjoy it, man. Like, I think it's so cool to just learn the game, you know. Like, and I think indoor is such a great game, and like I'm still learning, you know. Like I'm still learning so much, but especially in the beginning, like just kind of rolling out to practice and leaving and be like, wow, like I just kind of got like my shit rocked for like 2 hours, like it was like a very humbling experience, but it was something that I think, especially as a face-off guy, so much of your play is so binary. It's everything's chalked up to win or loss. Like, oh, did you win or did you lose? What was how many did you win? How many did you lose? You have a stat line that like makes you basically think about your whole play. And I don't think that's healthy. So in the very least, like indoor just gives me an outlet to like critique myself on other things, which is great because when we talked about earlier, like sometimes you just lose the face off because like something just happened. Like it's a fast thing. Like you're not gonna win them all. You're not gonna win them all.
I think it's like cool, but also very important that you did it right away too, because like I think for American guys it gets harder because it's harder to have that humility to learn as you get older and are doing really well in the PLL. It's like harder to like, so I think that helps. And then also getting rid of the rookie salary in the NLL. And while you're still young too, like I think there'd be more Americans that play, but like starting in the league as a 25, 26-year-old, it's like, all right, you're a stud American. You probably can make a lot of money in the summers coaching camps or doing whatever. You have to A, take the low salary, and B, you have to like kind of eat shit when you've already established yourself as a great player. Like I think if you can do that coming out of college, it just makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. Like I think that like sometimes I'm like, oh man, it would have been nice to take like a little year, like just have like a season off, but no, like I don't regret it at all. I think that especially after 2 years, like, and like you said, the rookie salary, it's like because you're putting time in like just playing and practicing, but like you got to put in time to learn, when you don't know, like you got to put some time in, and you're not, and a lot of times it's hard to get this old somebody who's more established to do it for that amount of money,
No doubt. You got any funny Dylan Evans stories from your time hanging in Philly?
Yeah. I mean, Dylan Evans is a man. I think like he was the rookie captain for Court, so you can imagine a little grumpy Dilly taking care of the rookies. So I think I'm trying to think of anything specific, but he was great. I think I just love when he would just kind of let loose a little bit and like kind of like have fun and smile. I'm like, oh, this is great. I should take a picture of this.
They're few. Those smiles are few and far between, so you gotta value them.
Yeah, but he was great. Like he was great. Like awesome teammate. We were roommates a lot too.
Nice.
So it was good. It's good.
Pauly, you got anything for him from that time in Philly?
How long were you there for?
4 years. So, but one was a COVID. So
yeah, one was COVID year. Yeah. So like again, just kind of speaking on like learning from guys. Obviously, like you mentioned, like Lordy, like Dilly, like guys who kind of been around the league for a while. Who were like guys you were leaning on? Like obviously you come and establish as a face-off guy, but to learn like the defense and stuff, like who were guys you were leaning on to kind of round that part of your game, at which you have like since you've been in here?
Yeah, I think Lordy was huge. I think that just his experience, it just seems like everything he just says the right thing every time. And I think that like he has so much perspective. He gave me so much perspective, not only just on the floor, but also like mentally going into the game of like, what I think it's so funny. Like in indoor games, like teams go on runs, I feel like a lot. And there's like a little bit of like a flow to a game. And he's like, like you'd be able to like call stuff out kind of before it happened. Like, like watch out for this. This is what they're going to be looking to at this point in the game. And just getting that heads up just for me playing was like a but he was a great guy. And also Moose, like Moose was playing kind of offense and defense, but he was also great for us. And, I learned a lot from him. But yeah, I would say Lordy too, because Lordy was there kind of the whole time.
What did you think the first time you saw Lordy brushing his teeth before the game?
I didn't think too much of it because John Orson, our coach at Denver, he did the same thing. And he's like, I've been doing this every game. He does it as a coach. He's like, I've been doing it since I've been playing. So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, I guess it's like I don't mean to say this in like a bad way, but I was like, maybe it's kind of like an old timer thing to do because like, him and Jo are kind of like the same age, So I'm like, maybe that's just like how guys got down back then.
Guys, they're brushing dentures before the game. That's okay. The dentures intact.
Yeah. I was like, maybe that's just what they did. I don't know.
Yeah, you just look over. Baptiste's brushing his teeth too. Like, all right, fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you've had quite the unique experience that not a ton of guys have, in the sense that you've been traded in this league. What was that like? What was the feeling like, and how did all that come to fruition?
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot like of just like, I don't know. I feel like for someone that like does do a lot of just like promotional stuff and like media stuff, I don't really like the drama, like I'm not really about that. And I don't think it was very dramatic. Kind of like, I'll be like very transparent of how everything happened. I was, after this summer, I was very burnt out of lacrosse. And I was actually thinking about maybe taking a year off of playing indoor, or taking a season off, because I was like, I just kind of need a break. Worlds was this summer. It was like the indoor season into the outdoor season, and the buys for our outdoor seasons, you were playing Worlds. So I was like, man, I'm smoked. And a lot of it, especially with the PLL, like kind of revolved around travel. So I was like, like I'm thinking about sitting out, like, or it could be really great for me and just like my personal health if I could be playing in the West. This is obviously before they changed the schedule, so everybody plays everybody. But so it kind of ended up being like that. But PD, Pauly, and Landon, and everyone there just did it so first class. Like PD was just like, yeah, man, like if this is what you need, like, and this is how you feel, like I want what's best for you. If we gotta trade you out West, like we're gonna trade you out, like we'll trade you out West, like we'll do it. And I appreciated that, because I think, like, I know like a tweet went out like, oh, like good luck out West per your request and all this stuff, because like in the rawest form, like I did request it. Like I'm not gonna say I didn't, I did. But it really wasn't like a salty or like bad blood type thing. It was actually like something that, like, I'm so appreciative for all of those guys in Philly, not only from just how the trade went, but just, if I wasn't with that group, like there's a storyline where I'm not playing indoor, so like I'm so appreciative of that. And kind of to the trade, like it was kind of weird, like coming into a new team. I was like, whoa, like this is the first time ever that I've been on a new team. The whole MLL PLL switch, but that was kind of like a new league. But it was like, to be honest, I was like very, very self-conscious, to be honest, coming in. Like I was like, like I want to fit in, like I want to find out their culture, and I want to like embody that. But as time went on, you just realize that, our team in San Diego is a bunch of great guys, great coaching staff, and, landed in a really great spot there too.
Yeah, there's worse places to go in the league than sunny San Diego. So that's not a bad landing spot.
Can I ask a kind of a nerdy question here? But you see a lot of the box guys when they're taking the face-offs do the look at the referee trick. Do you do that in box? Why not?
Yeah, I started doing it just with playing, and so kind of like why guys do it is, and why guys don't do it in other areas, like other disciplines of the game, is the ref blows the whistle right, he kind of like stands right above you, and he goes like, so it's very easy to look up at him and feel like the refs are usually always like running back when they're blowing the whistle. So it's very hard to like, you got to like either be turning all the way around, or, you got to do a lot of body movement, and you're not supposed to move after set, so it's kind of hard. So that was something that I just kind of like learned how to do. I think I went into a couple of games. Maybe I went into my first game like not looking, and I might have got just. There's definitely the face-offs where I got like torched like off the whistle, and I was like, "All right, I got to start looking back. I got to start looking back at this guy." There's the scrimmages. I was like, "Yo, these guys are on this whistle. Like, what's good?" So as I started looking back, and it's definitely an adjustment, but it's definitely the way to do it for indoor, for sure.
I think that just gave me an idea for if we want to do an outdoor face-off rule change. Make sure the ref just stands over top of it now, so he's not running out of there, focusing on the back pedal instead of watching what's going on in the mix.
I think that's a good thing. Like, I think also the I think in indoor, like a lot of times there's not a midline, so like I think sometimes like your lineup can be, that was like what a lot of coaches are saying, like, oh, guys are leaning, guys are like over the line, like it's unfair. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But in indoor, sometimes like your left hand, like both guys' left hands are like kind of forward, because there's no line. But I think what's great is there's an actual marker line where you put your head on, like I think that's so important, because it's just very black and white. It's like, yo, just go on the line, and I think in especially the college field game, we have it in the PLL, but the college field game, it's like the ball's down, and then they're just saying down, it's like you can kind of line up on your head anyway. If your glove can kind of be on the line a little bit, so I think even like a stencil, like kind of how we do in the PLL and like the line on the NLL, I think that would help too. Just kind of make it black and white. Make the lineup black and white. When it comes to like after the whistle, it's like, yo, two guys are going really hard to get the ball. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes guys might get pushed in the back a little bit. Sometimes guys might like, pull on someone's elbow a little bit, and I think that all those things should be is a point of safety and like advantages. I think those things should be like called if they're egregious, but sometimes you got to just kind of let the guys go. You kind of just got to let the guys go. Then it's like, they're like, oh, well, you can counter like this, but like if it's like this, it's not right. It's like the ref can't, like it's all happening so fast.
I agree. Is there?
Yeah, we just circled that right back to face-offs, huh?
I love it. It's called bookending. They call that bookending in the biz. But I think the other thing too that we like to kind of ask guys, we've had you for a while here, but what's the motivation for you behind the number you wear?
That, I wish I had a good story behind it. I really don't. I kind of I started wearing it in high school, and I don't think at my high school it was like a tradition of like, oh, like a top player wears 9 or something like that. But there was a guy who was really good at our high school. He wore 9, and when we graduated, he was kind of like, yo, like if you want to wear 9, like that would be cool. But like he wasn't like, hey, I want you to wear 9. Like it wasn't very strong ties. And I was like, I like that number. I like 9. So I started wearing it. And then when I came into freshman year at Denver, Coach Sheridan at the time was like, hey, like we're picking numbers. Like freshmen get to pick last, but I noticed you wore 9 in high school, and 9's open. You want that number? I was like, yeah, sure. That's great. That's great. And
there you go. And then you just worn it ever since.
Then I was like, I gotta keep rocking it. Yeah.
Okay. You guys, Donny,
This guy,
Pauly,
this
got
guy,
anything else?
this guy in high school gives his number to Trev to carry on his legacy. Trevor goes
Yeah.
on to be 4-team All-American, PLL MVP.
Never
Good
thought.
guy.
What was that? Yeah, that's good. What's the guy's name that gave you number 9 in high school?
Dor McManus.
All right.
Shout out Door.
Yeah,
Is that
McManzy.
what a lacrosse name? Dor
Yeah.
McManus.
That's insane. I love that. Pauly, Donny, you got anything else before we let him go?
No, that's great, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
it, man.
appreciate it.
That was a blast, long overdue to get this set. So we appreciate you taking the time, man.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. This was a great time, and I'm excited. I've been so excited to get on this. You know,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Okay, we appreciate it, man, and good luck the rest of the way, and we'll chat with you soon.
All right, sounds good. You guys
Thanks, Trev.
too. Appreciate it.
All right, what an interview. We appreciate that time. Obviously a huge player in both indoor and outdoor right now, and a great personality in the league too. Some pretty funny stories he's got. Can't even imagine going and just hanging with Jack Harlow. That must have been a nice little night for him. I know it still eats Teeter alive. You couldn't have been there for that one. But you guys got anything else before we wrap it up for the week?
Trev's a beauty, man. I've been lucky enough to work out with him for the summer in Denver last year, and Jack Hanna as well. So gotten to know him fairly well. He's a beauty, also a ridiculously hard worker. I think people, when I tell people that, they seem to be surprised. I think because people have an association with faceoff guys as, I don't know, maybe not as good of athletes or whatever. Trev is one of the best athletes I've been around in a gym. And super competitive. I thought it was interesting hearing him talk about the like swimming and the 1v1 stuff, because he's super competitive in the gym as well. And it's awesome. It brings out the best in everybody. So appreciate him coming on.
Yeah, no doubt. Pauly, you got anything before we shut her down, buddy?
No, trying to think
No.
of anything funny, but no, I got nothing, man.
Well, we want to give a major shout out to Boston Levi. Played a New Year's Eve show, opened up for the Glorious Sons in Kingston, and we shared a clip of it there. Pretty crazy crowd, and everybody seemed pretty into it, and I hear it went pretty well. So if you haven't, go listen to their music. There's some new stuff out from his acoustic set, which is awesome. Good little driving tunes. Little Blink 182 feature in there too, which is fun. But again, we want to give a major shout out to Cottage Springs Bar Down as well. Go check out your merch if you didn't get it for Christmas. Well, you can get it now for Valentine's Day for your girlfriend or boyfriend. So, again, we appreciate everybody that listens, and we will chat with you next week.
Congrats to Mike Poulin on 250 as well.
Oh!
My 85 brother, another old bastard, unretired. He just unretired so he could get 250. I start the rumor now. Okay,
Yep,
that's it
that's
for me. Goodbye.
Bye.